Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump is now getting blasted by citizens and lawmakers in Canada over Trump's taunts of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Over the weekend, the two leaders met in Mar-a-Lago to discuss Trump's tariff threats. After the meeting, Trudeau issued a public statement, as reported by CBS News.
Trudeau said people in America were, quote, beginning to wake up to the reality that tariffs on everything from Canada would make life a lot more expensive, close quote. Now, early this morning, Mr. Trump responded in a pointed Truth Social post saying it was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada.
It was classic Donald Trump demean and throw juvenile insults at a negotiation opponent. Or perhaps Trump was just trying to shift attention away from the tariffs while simultaneously engaging in a weird power play. In any case, a lot of Canadians did not think the subordination effort was very amusing. Because even though Prime Minister Trudeau did not react publicly, Canada's immigration minister said Trump's antics were at the level of South Park. That's an animated children's show that sometimes took shots at Canada. Other Canadian political lawmakers who did not want to be identified said Trump was eroding trust and creating unnecessary tensions. One Canadian lawmaker said, "Does Trump even understand how international diplomacy works?" Here's an answer for you. No, he doesn't, and he doesn't care. Trump doesn't give a hoot about diplomacy. He only cares about promoting himself, and it's often at the expense of dignity and basic class. Donald Trump transition staff say the president-elect was being humorous and engaging in the sort of towel snapping you might see between friends in a locker room. Whatever. Canada is America's closest ally and biggest trading partner. And most analysts agree that a 25% U.S. tariff on Canadian and Mexican-made goods would hurt consumers.
So look, if the United States does impose a 25% tariff when Trump takes office, it is going to make things more expensive. You think about the things that we get from Canada: steel, aluminum, lumber. A lot of the cars that we buy are assembled in Canada or Mexico before they make their way to the United States. I think what's really interesting here is when President-elect Trump had first posted all of this on social media, we saw Prime Minister Trudeau come to the table. He flew down to Mar-a-Lago. They had a discussion, and you and I were talking about this, Reed. We were saying, oh, wow, this does look potentially like this negotiating tactic of threatening tariffs could be working. But now you're starting to see that tit for tat. If you do this, we're going to slap retaliatory tariffs.
And along the way, Donald Trump is going out of his way to insult Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Not only is Trump doing it in speeches and on social media, but Trump also insulted Trudeau to his face. According to multiple reports, when Trudeau flew to Mar-a-Lago and told Donald Trump the tariffs would wreck Canada's economy, Trump's response was, "Canada could become the 51st state and you, Trudeau, could be governor." On MSNBC, the question about Donald Trump was simple.
Why does he treat people like Justin Trudeau with such apparent disdain?
Because he feels like he can. I mean, I think this is basically this is essentially why he has the appeal that he does from his supporters, which is a sense of bluster, a sense of incredible dismissiveness over someone he considers inferior, someone Americans consider to be this sort of a fat neighbor to the north. And frankly, just, it's kind of the law of the jungle. I mean, we are bigger than you. We are stronger than you. You rely on us more than we rely on you. And therefore, I can push you around like this. I think it probably helps that Trudeau is a lot younger than Trump. It probably helps that, Trump feels like he can lord over any number of things, in part, and this is reflected in how he treated him during the first term. I mean, they didn't have a great relationship the first time around. So to me, this is a continuation of that. And I also think that Trudeau feeling it necessary to go down to Mar-a-Lago kind of underscores not only the reliance that he feels he has on the relationship, but also on a kind of subservience that he, along with many other people in the world and in the country, feel that they owe to Donald Trump at this point.
They owe subservience to Trump, and Trump feels he can respond with ridicule and mockery. So even before Donald Trump is sworn in as U.S. president, he is exacerbating tensions with U.S. neighbors and trivializing the strong diplomatic relationships between the United States and Canada. Remarkable. And it follows a Donald Trump pattern. He wants to fix a U.S. economy that is not broken, and in so doing, Trump is going to tank the economy. Well done, Trump voters. Of course, Donald Trump's cheerleaders and conservative media have also decided to follow Trump's lead. Canada has a lower crime rate than the United States and a much lower per capita number of gun deaths, but Newsmax is obsessed with Canadian judges' robes.
In the Canadian criminal justice system, we could get rid of these red Santa Claus robes. They really wear these. They still wear these during court cases. Imagine that. Literally, I feel like it's a scene out of the North Pole. They're all going to make toys in 10 minutes. We might be the best thing that ever happened to Canada. During COVID, it was worse in Canada than it was here. Trudeau froze the bank accounts of hundreds of truckers when they protested COVID mandates. Canada might need us. Canada needs Donald Trump. In Canada, free speech is so limited, it doesn't exist like we have it here. When anti-Christian arsonists burned more than 50 Catholic churches across Canada, Justin Trudeau didn't declare a state of emergency. So how did all this happen so quickly in a country as nice and moderate as Canada? Well, it happened the way it always happens. Maximum aggression and limited popular support.
That actually makes no sense. But then again, Newsmax and Donald Trump have a lot of things in common. Reality, facts, and fundamental decency do not matter. So instead of engaging in thoughtful and sophisticated trade negotiations, Donald Trump is engaging in his usual simple-minded, childish tactics. And it means the United States and Canada are moving closer to a trade war. I suppose it's possible that Donald Trump pulls back when he takes office and reveals that his bluster was not serious and was simply a negotiation tactic. But that's not going to be helpful for the United States either, because then no U.S. adversaries or allies are going to take Donald Trump or his threats seriously. Donald Trump will be the ultimate empty suit that America's allies and adversaries largely ignore. Maybe the rest of the world is onto something and will teach many of us in America how to cope? Strange times. By the way, in U.S. domestic politics, Donald Trump is facing the derailment of a few of his cabinet nominees because of a Senate Republican scheme.
And so he's coming up with some kind of a rotation scheme. Maybe it's Tom Tillis votes against one of them. Maybe it's Joni Ernst votes against one of them.
That is MSNBC contributor Katty Kay describing incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and this senior Republican plots scheme to derail 4 Trump nominations.
My understanding is that John Thune, the senator from North Dakota, has to think, how can I protect some of my senators? He can't have all the same senators go out and say no against all of the picks. But you don't want always to have the same senator, because that opens them up to too much fury from the MAGA crowd.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.